Hi there, I'm Craig Lyon, and I'm on the porch at Chautauqua overlooking the lake, and we're ready for our delicious dinner again, and we are missing Wayne and Elizabeth. We do have the other older generation, Blair and Linda and Jerry and Adriana coming soon, hopefully, and just a message out to Wayne and Elizabeth. We miss you here this year. We know you're doing well, and we just expect to see you again next year at this great reunion. Some memories that I think of when I think of you all, especially for Wayne, is our connection to the older generation, to the history of Chautauqua and of the families, and to have a legacy and to have the generations there to keep the message and the continuity together is so important as generations develop. I know without you and without Grandmother Lyon and Aunt Bernice, we're not going to the programs as much as we should. And so we always need that little push from the older generations to continue the traditions. I did have a cigar on the dock for you, Wayne, the other day, and we have not gone for maple walnut ice cream yet, but we will. And we just miss you all, and you're a very important part of Chautauqua. And without you here, it's not quite the same. But we're carrying on. And here's to you, and here's to good health for you and Elizabeth, and all of the older generation. Without you, we wouldn't be here, obviously. Cheers.
Well, Wayne, Margaret is certainly a wonderful, wonderful woman, and I'm sure there are many great stories. Can you share one or two with the family?
Well, Mother Lyon, as we called her, Margaret, was certainly the matriarch of our family, without question, and she bonded with Bunny Chichester like they were sisters. They both saw everything the same way. They shared experiences, they shared values, they shared morals and interests. So they became good pals immediately. But Mother was one of those people that was a people magnet. She attracted people. She interacted with people amazingly. Her whole history of work, and she worked until she was 70, was in personnel work. So it was not natural. It was natural for her to be a people-oriented, so forth. And so she was a great promoter of coming up here, which was a big trip for all of us, actually, to get here. And it made it the glue that made us all come back. Now it's Jerry, but it was Mother back in those days. I remember one evening we were particularly enjoying ourselves in Aunt Bernice's lower level, which was her both dining room and bedroom, which gave us some pause on occasion. I won't go into that part right now, but we were there one evening, and one of the characteristics of this dining area, first of all, there were two very large glass vases that were always threatening to tip over and crash, and many of the time we would reach out. I remember Blair reaching out and grabbing it one time, but we were there one night, and Uncle Lee, who was largely bald, was always getting up and hitting his head on the lamp that was hanging over the table. So he went out to the kitchen, and he came back with a pot over his head. It looked like he looked like a German, Nazi coming out of the trenches. So he didn't get his head whacked when he got up out of the table on this crazy lamp that was hanging over. That was just typical of our stories. It wasn't so much about Mother, but it was just each of the family. Aunt Bernice, of course, was a great character, a very unusual woman, and I had the misfortune to occasionally be required to move her from Cleveland to here. It was a monumental task, and she had the heaviest suitcases known to man. This is when I was in my prime and I could still lift stuff. I thought I'd never get those suitcases down out of her apartment. They were like bricks in there. I don't know what she had in there, but it was clearly not. It was canned goods. There was also canned goods in a suitcase, you can imagine. But we would come down here and bring her, and it wasn't me, it was Uncle Lee, and he usually got the job, but I had it on several occasions, and it was not something I looked forward to in the summers, particularly, either moving her down or moving her back. I had both ends of that, but we had great times, lots of fun, and the nice thing about this, probably the nicest thing about Chautauqua, is all the young people can run loose without any fear of any issues. I remember one time Blair's namesake, my young son Blair, some young man was coming down thinking, anybody need a redhead? Anybody looking for a redhead? He had him on his shoulder. And he wandered off someplace. And somebody brought him back.
Okay, I'm Madelyn Lyon, and my grandpa is Wayne Lyon. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think about my grandpa is out on the porch in Chautauqua and his laugh. It's his laugh. Like, it's so unique, and I love it. I think it's awesome.
How he loves ketchup, and so do I, and I think that's hilarious. And how I've always heard that he has his own ketchup bottle with him at the table. Everyone gets their own ketchup bottle. Everyone has to share a ketchup bottle, but he gets his own. And I love ketchup, and so I really like that, and how it just, like, whenever I, like, have some ketchup, and I'm like, I'll get some extra ketchup in reminder of Grandpa. And
Hi, I'm Mathis Edwards, and my grandpa is Jerry. I think he's a really great grandpa. I have a lot of memories of him going up to his lake house in Vermont and just having a really great time. He's really special, and he's, like, very nice, and we really have nice conversations. I remember always going up there and going on the water trampoline, and him watching us and watching us grow over the years, like swimming out there with a life jacket and then swimming out there without a life jacket when we were a little older. And just he knows how we've grown and what we've gone through. And it's really special, our relationship, because I can mostly tell him anything, which is really awesome, and it doesn't happen a lot. So with other people's grandpas and family, so it's really nice. And we both like talking about books because we both love books, and we just have a lot in common, and he's really nice, and I think he's a great grandpa. So I have a really special relationship with him.
Jerry?
Well, to kind of pick up on some aspects of that, when Grandpa Lee whacked his head, as you just described, it was related to the fact that he may have been participating in pre-dinner libation. But in those days, you had to spirit your spirits into Chautauqua. There was no booze of any kind acknowledged to be on premises. We were probably the only exceptions, don't you think?
No.
So not only were you not allowed to openly bring booze in, you were apparently, at least by Aunt Bernice's or maybe Aunt Margaret's standards,
Yeah.
she was teetotaler.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You were not allowed to have it on display or even very accessible.
Yeah.
So near where Grandpa Lee whacked his head, there was a file cabinet, 2 drawers, I recall. It may have been 4 drawers. The bottom 2 drawers, anyway, were where we spirited the spirits. But of course, it was draped with this tablecloth, I guess, or could have been a bath mat for all I know, but it was in disguise. So the evening would begin by raising this thing up and kind of checking to the left and checking to the right, and pulling the bottles out. As we do to this day, I mean, it became a habit to
be circumspect in your drinking.
Circumspect in your drinking, yes.
You know, one of the aspects of this get-together that Blair and Jerry and I all shared in with the forever what just broke at the Chautauqua Inn syndrome. Every year we got there, something broke. We replaced the stove, we replaced the refrigerator, we replaced
She didn't even have a dishwasher.
No, we got a dishwasher.
We installed the initial one.
And it went on like this, but our biggest, at least mine, I think Blair, I know Blair shares, I don't know about Jerry, but our biggest relief came when we left Chautauqua, and the Chautauqua Inn had not burned down yet again.
No, my biggest
It was an
relief,
electrical nightmare.
that was not my biggest relief. My biggest relief was we left Chautauqua and we had to die of food poisoning.
There's that too. That's actually probably more dangerous than under the fire. I don't know.
Aunt Bernice, well, go ahead.
Wayne, you mentioned the mystery suitcases that came along with Aunt Bernice. I can't help but ask a off the prepared question list. Did anybody ever discover what was behind the mystery curtains?
Actually, we did. Remember one day, without her permission, we decided we were going to clean up, because there was a lot of room in that basement where we had where she lived and where we had the table, but it was all masked by curtains hanging down over different things on various rods and hooks and stuff. And we got down there, and I think it was you and I, and we cleaned out the whole side. And then we had to put it all back because she wouldn't let us throw it away.
Of course not.
Well, my great visual memory, what came from behind those curtains, was Uncle Lee at the end of a week there came walking out with a toilet. She had stored an old toilet back there, and he was going to take this back as he was getting a third floor bathroom made or something like that. And he came walking out, trudging along with this porcelain toilet. We knew a lot of things were back there. We didn't know that was there.
Well, to hark back to Wayne's reports of moving Aunt Bernice up here, your Grandpa Lee did usually get the job.
He did usually get it.
And I guess it was because he was both in close proximity and because he had a huge Lincoln. And he had to put a trailer on the back of the Lincoln to bring all her stuff up here. And we used to get these letters from him because I never experienced this firsthand, but he was very detailed in his accounting. And he would describe going up to Bernice's apartment, and it would just be, according to him, grocery bags.
That's exactly right.
That were anywhere from 50% to 150% filled with no one ever knew exactly what. And the car would be floor to ceiling and the trailer would be floor to ceiling. One year he had to make a return trip with,
That's true.
with all this paraphernalia. It drove him crazy. And he was not easy to drive crazy.
And Bernice was the original buy in bulk to get the best price person. So when you had, like Hershey's chocolate syrup, you didn't have Hershey's chocolate syrup, you had Hershey's chocolate syrup, it was unbelievable. She would have been Costco's biggest fan if Costco had existed back then. But as it was, she bought everything through the food distribution company down in Jamestown.
Named Fleckinger's.
Fleckinger's, exactly.
That's right.
The truck would come up and they would unload, and that guy would kind of ask a question, is this really a hotel? Because it had to be a commercial operation, but she got by it somehow or other. We all laughed at that. And the best thing that happened at the end of this time we were here, if there were leftover chocolate or any extra cans, we got to take them home. And we remember,
They were gallon-sized.
I remember having one of those, and it didn't last very long at our house.
Hi, I'm Lee Chichester. I'm Jerry Chichester's son.
I am Christa Chichester. Do I need to say that anymore?
No, my wife. So we have, I have lots of fond memories from being a very young boy, being here at Chautauqua with Uncle Blair, Uncle Wayne, and my father Jerry. All kinds of different memories. I remember Uncle Blair was always kind of the grand poobah on the tennis court. He was gracious enough to, play lefty or something to give us a thought that we might have a fighting chance on occasion, which we never did. Uncle Wayne, I have really fond memories of you including me in early morning fishing trips. I remember you and Blair would go out before the sun even came up, and we'd motor down the lake in a little fishing boat in time to get back to the inn to have a little breakfast with the family. And I think as I've gotten older, I've realized all the wonderful things that you did for us that we probably didn't really fully understand at the time. And Dad, what can I say? The brown station wagon fully loaded down with the sunfish and the windsurfers and the bikes. That was always fun, to say the least. So tons of fond memories. Thank you guys for everything you've done for us here and everywhere over the years.
He took my whole minute, so I'll just say I've had a great time, and every year Chautauqua gets better.